Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
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 Good day, St. Lucia, and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Phillip Sydney. With me in studio today is Mr. Vaughan Charles, who is the General Manager of the St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation. Some of you know it as the Complex at Sans Souci, VG. Today we are here to discuss the role and function or the objectives of that corporation from the time of establishment. Welcome to the program, Mr. Charles.
Thank you, Sydney, and hello to the viewers and listeners.
Vaughan, I think it's time again that we tell St. Lucia, those persons out there who apparently do not know, why that entity was established some years ago, some 25 years ago. Can we go back and dissect and give detailed information concerning the St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation, its role and function, please, to get people out there to know exactly what's going on?
Yes, it's a pleasure for me to do so. The St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation was established in 1984. The reason for the establishment of Fish Marketing Corporation was to aid in the development of the fisheries sector, to provide a guaranteed market for fishers who previously, before the establishment of the Fish Marketing Corporation, had large volumes of fish. Large volumes of fish were being landed. There was nowhere to sell it. The market surpassed the demand, and therefore fishermen had to go on the backs of the vans and sell fish in the rural areas and even take fish down into the urban areas to try and sell the fish. Fish was being sold at that time as low as $3 a pound because there was more fish being landed than the market demanded.
I remember those days because they were using conch shells to actually blow, to alert people in those areas.
That resulted in a lot of downtime and decreased fishing effort. And when I say downtime, I mean if a fisher would go to Castries from Vieux Fort to sell fish, he gets back to Vieux Fort at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's highly unlikely that he would be prepared to go to sea the following day. So it meant that he would have lost a day trying to sell the catch which he landed the day before. So in a 6-day fishing week, probably he would have gone to sea 3 days because of the problems he had disposing of the catch. So the Department of Fisheries, through the Ministry of Agriculture, Agriculture, Lands, Fisheries, Forestry, and Cooperatives at the time, developed a project and submitted it to CIDA, the Canadian International Development Agency, and for the construction of processing and storage facilities. So in 1984, we saw the opening of those facilities in Castries and the establishment of the St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation. What the corporation did was to purchase fish from the fishers, process it, primary and secondary processing. That means cleaning and staking and storing the product within the freezers of the St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation, thereby offering the fishers a guaranteed market. So the glut that would normally be on the market was removed by the St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation. That fish was purchased, processed, as I said, and would be stored because between the months of January and April, this was categorized as the high season, high fishing season, with March, April sometimes being the peak. And therefore, when that fish was purchased and stored, the hope was that during the lean season, when you get to July, August, September, that there would be fish available, especially the pelagic fish like the dolphin, wahoo, what they normally call kingfish, but is actually wahoo, and the tuna species would be available for sale in the market to the hotels and so on. So during that time also, we saw the development of the sector with fishers having a guaranteed market, having been offered a better price for their fish, had the confidence to move from the canoe, which was a very unstable craft, into a more stable platform like the fiberglass pirogue, which was more expensive but provided the necessary safety. And the fishermen did not mind because there was this guaranteed market offered by St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation. And therefore, they had the confidence to go into a bigger investment. It required a larger engine, so they moved from a 25 horsepower to the 48 horsepower. It consumed a lot more fuel, but the government, in its wisdom at the time, provided rebate on fuel. So fishermen who bought fuel during a particular quarter would, at the end of the quarter, would get a rebate of, at the time it was 75 cents on every gallon of fuel that they consumed. That would be processed through the Fishermen's Cooperative, the Department of Fisheries, and would facilitate it through the Fishermen's Cooperatives. And that rebate would be paid to the fisher or the boat owner, because it's actually boat owners that receive, who make the investment. You may see 3 men on a fishing craft, but they may not necessarily own that fishing boat. There's somebody else who has made the investment. In a number of cases, you would find the person who makes the investment, the owner of the boat, is also a crew member. So that these are the two systems that obtain within the fishing sector. So there was a lot of growth and development because of the market that was available to fishers. Now, the mandate of St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation, and that's like 32 years ago, was to purchase everything that was landed by fishers of acceptable quality. So if a fisherman brings a shark and it's of acceptable quality, the Fish Marketing Corporation had the obligation to purchase it from the fishermen. Again, that provided the necessary confidence for fishermen to go further out and fish. And so the sector was booming. We had increased landings. The hotel sector was beginning to develop nicely. So there was the demand for fish grew. Then we had all the promotions of healthy lifestyles. So even the local community increased the consumption of fish. Prior to Fish Marketing Corporation, the per capita consumption of fish was about 10 kgs. During that time, and now, up to now to present, the per capita consumption is like 26.4 kgs. So we've seen how the Fish Marketing Corporation has been able to provide the necessary support to the development of fisheries and to the consumption of healthy, or the meeting the objectives of healthy lifestyle by providing that quality protein. So we've moved from 10 kg in 1984 to 26.4 kg per capita consumption of fish.
Great. Well, hold that point, because after we're due for a break, but when I come back, I want to talk to you concerning, the ease with the fishermen bringing in the catch and for the fish marketing, taking it, and then for them to go and rest and come back tomorrow to go back to fish again. You are due for a break, our first break. Stay tuned. Back soon.
The Pesticides and Toxic Chemicals Control Board reminds all importers of such chemicals that according to the Pesticides and Toxic Chemicals Act, only chemicals which have been registered and granted approval by the board can be legally imported for use in St. Lucia. Agricultural and household chemicals that are not licensed for use in St. Lucia can be harmful to its users and the general public. Before placing orders, importers are advised to check the approved list of pesticides or household chemicals to ensure that they can be legally imported. An import license must be obtained from the Research and Development Division of the Ministry of Agriculture and must be submitted to the Customs and Excise Department to facilitate the clearance of the consignment. For further information, contact the Ministry of Agriculture's Research Division at Union or call telephone numbers 468-5600 or 468-5602.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move, but we're discussing fisheries. The fisheries sector falls under the Ministry of Agriculture. And I'm speaking to Vaughan Charles, who is the General Manager of the St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation, in his capacity today. But I'm sure a lot of you know Vaughan to be involved in sports, shamrock, involved in what do you call it? Carnival, Cozy Guzzlers. But today he's here in the capacity as the General Manager of the Fish Marketing Corporation. Vaughan, let's go back to the fishers who go to sea. And as you said, the main objective was to allow the fishermen to go out there, come back with his catch, and instead of going around the countryside or having the problem in selling his fish, he goes straight to the Fish Marketing Corporation. During that time, was he able to be given some leeway where he could have gone and get his petrol and go back to sea the next day? Was there some arrangement in that area before?
Well, with the establishment of Fish Marketing Corporation and the mandate that was given came a lot of concessions to Fish Marketing Corporation. So Fish Marketing Corporation had the market, the fish market, fish and seafood market in St. Lucia. It controlled everything. So the fishermen were able to take their catch directly to Fish Marketing Corporation. That catch would be sold to Fish Marketing Corporation in areas where the fishermen's cooperatives were active and had their fuel stations. They would use their docket for purchase of fish from Fish Marketing Corporation and use it for fuel at the cooperative. So there was an arrangement between the fishermen's cooperative, St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation, and the fishers. So they can obtain fuel because payments were not made to the fishers immediately. But there was an arrangement where the inputs into fishing, for example, fuel and oil, could have been obtained from the fishermen's cooperative through the arrangement with St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation. And that worked very well for long periods of time. But as the sector developed and the market became more liberalized by some of the agreements that the countries in the region signed, the bilateral agreements and the negotiations with the WTO, the market became open. So Fish Marketing Corporation began to lose a lot of the concessions that it had. There was no protection for Fish Marketing Corporation anymore. And gradually we saw the market being liberalized and there were a number of new players in the market. And therefore, the sales of Fish Marketing Corporation began to dip. We developed, at the time, Fish Marketing Corporation developed a strategy to target the larger consumers, like the hotels and large restaurants, through its marketing department. And that worked for a while, where the exotic seafoods were being imported by Fish Marketing Corporation and sold to the larger hotels and restaurants, while still maintaining its mandate to purchase everything that was landed by fishermen. What happened over the years was that, again, as the market became liberalized, there were a lot more persons entering the market. We saw a lot of middlemen coming into the system, purchasing from the fishermen at cash and retailing on the side of the road, retailing in some of the hotels, despite our efforts to maintain the market at the hotels, because they were able to supply a lot cheaper than us because of the lack of overheads. In some cases, they penetrated the market at the hotels. And what happened then was that the prized products, the dolphin, tuna, and wahoo species, were being sold to the hotel, to the middlemen who had markets at the hotel. And those species that were not readily acceptable, like the large marlin and some of the tuna species like the skipjack, was being dumped on St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation, and we had an obligation to buy it.
Yes, yes.
And these are not species that were fast-moving. And therefore, we found ourselves in competition mode, where you had to compete with the middlemen to get the product that will allow you to generate the necessary income to pay them the products which they dumped on you. So we found ourselves having to purchase as an institution of last resort. Marlin and skipjack was not being sold. The shark was not acceptable to the hotels, so that was being sold to Fish Marketing Corporation. The other products that were in demand at the hotels and the large restaurants were being sold to the middlemen.
So you're in direct competition?
We were in direct competition. Granted, when the production increases, when you get to the peak periods, we would get some of the dolphin and the wahoo, but the market is already saturated.
Correct. Yes.
So we now have to store the product for longer periods and then wait when the demand is high and the production is low, so that we can sell to some of those markets that the middlemen would traditionally target.
So basically, you really could not have paid to the fishermen on time because you are tardy because of the amount of stuff you have in the non-movers.
We buy non-movers from them and storing it because they themselves are unable to move it.
That's right.
But these are the same products that they come back 2 months after and make noise for the payment. But it's lying in the freezers because we are unable to sell it because the high price and the more acceptable products are on the market.
But Vaughan, were you able to, discuss that with them, have them to understand? People say fishermen don't understand. It's money they're talking about. But were you all able to sit with them and explain to them, the whole marketing dynamics, which is new?
At the beginning of every fishing season, that is done. We discuss the issues with the fishers. But you must understand.
Well, before you continue, we do want another break. We're moving very, very fast. You were watching Agriculture on the Move. We are discussing the Fish Marketing Corporation, of course, and its operations. Back soon.
Messieurs et dames, Mamay Saint-Lucie, Tansa, est-ce qu'on savent l'année chimique agricole avec l'autre chimique nous a servi en caille, qu'a échoué en pays sans enregistrer, et que ça peut affecter santé publique là. Généralement, l'année yon comité en place qui ni responsabilité pour enregistrer, contrôler et bailler permission pour toute chimique qui a entré en Saint-Lucie. Pour importer ces chimiques ça là, fait yon application pour joindre une licence. Pour plus d'informations, contactez Office Research en Lyon, en ministre agricole, numéro téléphone 468-5600 et bien 468-560D. Messieurs, pas mener pièces vieilles chimiques qui pas registrées pour dommager santé PPIA souple. Information ça a sorti par ministre agricole.
Welcome back to the program. Vaughan, it is so interesting, I'll tell you why. Because that thing has been going on for a while, and we expect people, the fishermen, to understand. We expect the public and certain persons in the public domain to understand the whole marketing dynamics. But you find they're the ones, to my mind, who are fueling the whole problem. They figure that fish marketing, is making money. I heard one said sometime 2 weeks ago how you are buying fish at $10 and selling at $15 a pound, and you're making money and you're not paying the fishermen. I mean, do they really understand what is going on?
You see, the sector is a very complex sector. The fishermen that make noise and those we talk to sometimes do not own the boats.
Okay.
So you have meetings to discuss Fish Marketing Corporation's policy for the upcoming season. But you're speaking most times to the boat owners who would come to the meeting. A few fishermen would come, but it's mainly boat owners because the investment is theirs. And these issues are discussed, that if you deprive me of the product that I need to sell to generate income, revenue, so that I can pay you. If you deprive me of that product and you dump the non-movers or the less appealing products on me, then I will be unable to pay you in a timely manner because these are the products I need to sell to make the revenue to pay you are not being given to me. They're being given to the middlemen who are in the market, because the market is open. The market has been liberalized. Everybody, any and everybody can purchase fish, find a market, and sell. Now, the Fish Marketing Corporation is obligated to charge VAT on the products that it sells to, for example, the hotels or the large restaurants. The middlemen are not obligated to charge VAT. Right. So a lot of the purchasing people in the hotels purchase from the middlemen because the hotels get away from paying VAT on the fish that they purchase locally.
Let me drop in there. Do the hotels pay you on time?
Well, we have an arrangement with the hotels. We had an arrangement with the hotels. I cannot say we have an arrangement with the hotels now because I don't know of any hotel that purchases from us, despite all our marketing efforts. Okay. Our products have VAT. The middlemen do not charge VAT, so they purchase from the middlemen instead of Fish Marketing Corporation. Easy as that. Okay. They get away from the VAT by purchasing from the middlemen who are in direct competition with this Fish Marketing Corporation. But hold on. The middlemen don't have the overheads that we have.
That's correct, yes.
So when people say that we buy fish at $10 and we sell it at $15, the fish has to be processed. We have to employ people to process the product. The product has to be stored at a temperature that will make it acceptable to the consumer. Nobody cares about the middlemen, how their fish is preserved, and whether it's preserved in keeping with internationally accepted standards. We have to abide by the internationally accepted standards. They don't. But yet still they have the market because persons are able to save or get away from some of the taxes that we are obligated to charge. So these are some of the problems that confront us.
So what's the way forward now? I mean, we have just bought to...
No, but I need to talk about how our discussions with the fishermen and the boat owners. We, for the past 3 years, made some arrangements with the credit unions, some of the credit unions and the fishermen and the fishers. The fishers would sell to us. They would be given a docket. Those fishers who are members of the credit unions, we encourage them to join the credit unions, set up a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the credit unions. So they would get paid through the credit unions. And we, in turn, over a period of time, would pay the credit unions.
How's that working?
That system worked very well in the case of the National Farmers Credit Union in Vieux Fort. And again, it had a development aspect to it, because some of those fishers who were not members of any of those financial institutions joined the credit union. There's a savings component in that arrangement, and they also have access to a loan arrangement with the credit union. So it helps in their development. It assists in their development.
You have 1 minute, have one first before you end.
Yeah, but what happened in the case of the other credit union library is that members of that credit union took fish from other non-members and sold on their names. So when we were thinking that we were working with a particular amount of cash flow, we suddenly realized that we had gone over by over $300,000. And it's only after we checked we realized that some members were selling fish 3 times a day. But if your boat did not go out 3 times a day,
how can you sell fish
3 times a day? And then we realized they would, so sometimes we do things in an attempt to assist those persons, but they come back and they cause the system to collapse.
Well, Vaughan, I think we have come to the end, sadly. I know there's so much more we want to tell the public. I know we may have to come back a second time for part 2, because there are other things that are happening, a board is being put in place and stuff like that. So I think there are new things for the marketing.
Because we have had discussions with the government institutions, the government, the ministry, and we're in the process of looking at a way forward for fish market.
I'll have to stop you at the end already. I wish you success, Vaughan. I know it's challenging, but I know you can do it. So I want to thank you for being here. You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. We have been discussing the St. Lucia Fish Marketing Corporation with Mr. Vaughan Charles, who is the general manager of that institution. I hope you got the message, people out there. I hope you, the fishers, got the message. You, the consumer, got the message. And those persons who don't understand the working of the Fish Marketing Corporation, I hope you now understand. Thank you for viewing. I'm Phillip Sydney saying goodbye and see you again.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole Mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole Mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole Mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole Mouvement.